with this equation here, y equals to 2x, we are going to draw the graph also over here for this equation. So still in the linear equations, pipeline. So now y equals to mx plus b. Okay, that's something that we introduced before. It's a topic that we introduced before when we spoke about slope of a line. So you can check that video again. And that's the equation. That's the equation of the straight line that we've been talking about. Okay, and then these are the different kinds, different examples of the straight line, the linear equations that we're talking about. All right. So now, how are we going to graph it using y equals to 2x in this case? So one of the ways to do it is by using the x and the y values table. So this one is the x and the y values table that we're going to use in order to graph this one. So this one is the standard one, the foundational one. And later on, we're going to do, these kinds of problems by using the slope to still graph it. So with either one of the two methods, we should be able to get to the same answer. All right? So let's go with the first one here. So we have y equals to 2x. So we said we're going to use the x and the y values table. The first thing we got to make sure about, just to make life easy, okay? Because it's not all the time like that. So to make your life easier, you just want to leave your equation into this format, which is y equals to mx plus b, okay? Now, in this case here, we have 2x, so our y equals to 2x, so the 2 is the m, and then nothing after that. So that means the b is 0 in this case, okay? So b is 0 in this case. So what we're going to do is, so now our x and y values table. So we put the 2x in the middle, and then we have our y all the way to the right side, okay? So the 2x is the equation, so you have the x on the left and then the y to the other extreme. So now we're going to choose values for x, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to choose x values. Now, most of the time it's just easy to choose small values, small numbers, okay? Like 0, 1, 2, -1, -2. So those are the small numbers that we want. We don't need like very huge numbers. So in this case, let's go with 0, for example. So if we choose x, which is 0, so what's going to happen? So we're going to have to substitute x with 0 in the equation. That's the reason why I put this one in the middle here. Now, a lot of times, in other cases, you're not going to have it this way. So this one is not going to be in the middle, all right? So if you've never seen that, don't panic. It's okay. So now this one is 0, so we're going to multiply 2 by 0, because once we see 2x like that, so that means 2 times 0. So 2 times 0 is going to give us what? 0. Okay? So now let's choose 1. Like we said, choose very small values. So that would be 2 times 1, which is 2. Let's choose -1. So 2 times -1 is going to give us what? -2. All right, so already we have 3 points here. First point 0, 0, second point 1, 2, third point -1, -2. Somebody can just continue by using 2, -2, 3, -3. Now a lot of times, the reason why we're using the negative sign also, the negative numbers, is to make sure that we cover the whole graph. Okay, so in this case, once we come back here, so we have the points 0, 0, point 1, 2, point -1, -2. The same points are the same ones that we call what? Are the ones that we also call the coordinate. Okay? So these are also called coordinates. All right? Coordinates. Okay? So now let's get back here and then draw it afterwards. So now we need these coordinates, these points, in order to draw our straight line. So the first one, which is 0, 0, so that's the origin. So 0, 0, your first point is right here. Okay? And then you go 1, 2. So 1, 2, so that means you're on the x-axis for 1. So x-axis, you look for 1. And then for y, you look for 2. So x-axis, you look for 1. Here is it. And then 2, you have to go up because that's a positive value. 1 and 2. So this is 2. And then this is your first point, 1, and then 2. All right? And then you continue. So you have your second point, which is 1, 2. First one is 0, 0. So your third point is negative 1, negative 2. So negative 1 and negative 2. So negative 1 is on the left side of the horizontal line, which is the x-axis, correct? So it's negative 1. And then you have to go down negative 2 because now you're on the y-axis. So negative 1, negative 2. So you have negative 1 and then negative 2. Okay? So this is how you go about the whole thing. And then to finish with, you just do what? You just connect the 3 points all together. And as you guys can see, I put 2 arrows at the end of the line, so just to signify that the line does not stop. Okay? Unless we say so that the line is stopping somewhere, as long as the line doesn't stop, we have the arrows there. Okay? So, and then very soon we're going to see how we do this one also, the y equals to negative 3x, and then see how we can draw that. As a matter of fact, let's do it. So we have y equals to negative 3x. So now we know that we can do the x and the y values table, right? So for the x and the y values table, so we have x here, we have negative 3x, and then we have y. So again, we can choose what? 0. So that's negative 3 times 0 is what is going to give us 0. Okay? And then we can go negative 1. So that's negative 3 times negative 1, which is what? A positive 3. And then we can go 1 here. So it doesn't matter which one you go. You can go negative, you can go positive, you can go positive, you can go negative. It doesn't matter. Okay? And then you have negative 3 times 1. So that will give us what? Negative 3. So again over here you have 3 points. Okay? So all your 3 points are here. Same ones that we call coordinates again. So these are the coordinates. And then let's, draw them and see. So the difference between this one is that you have positive 2x, and now this one is negative 3x. So then we go ahead, so it's 0, 0, which is our first point, okay? And then negative 1, negative 3, negative 1, negative 3, positive 3, I'm sorry. So that's negative 1, positive 3, and then you have positive 1, negative 3. Positive 1, negative 3. Positive 1, negative 3. So you have negative 1 here and positive 3 here. And then you're going to draw your line through those 3 points as well. So as you guys can see, so we have the 2 lines here. And of course, we call this one an upward, line, and then this one's a downward line. When it's positive, the sign of the number, the coefficient is positive, you have an upward, line. And then when it's negative, you have a downward line. So we're going to speak more about those also.